there's always a motivation for me to keep going. My why is my mother. I must confess that I feel a little guilty. I feel a little guilty because my mom's in a nursing home right now. It was a very hard decision to make, but I asked my mom to just give us 1 year. I usually don't talk about my story at all, but my coach inspired me and he said, Nathaly, if you don't talk about your story, people will only know the good side of you, or the one that is always positive, but they don't know who you are exactly and what's your story that makes you who you are today. So sometimes you might talk to me and I'm very happy and very cheerful and always positive about what's next. This is just a little door and window to show you that not everything is easy, and life has been hard actually. Until this point, it's been a ride. I try to stay positive all the time and try to inspire people, but this is me. I'm gonna open up my heart to you. In 2009, my mom had a massive stroke that damaged the backside of her brain. She had 2 brain surgeries, and by the time the doctors were done with her, she couldn't walk. We spent a couple months in the ER, and we had to just get used to this new life, new way of living. So even though this happened, this didn't mean that life stopped. All the opposite. The journey just started. And the reason I'm telling you this is because there's a story behind the story, and as this was going down, after a couple years and my mom was sick, my dad left my mom. So imagine that for believing in relationships. For me, it was very hard. We were able to move her to the US, and we were able to process all her paperwork, her green card, her citizenship. We don't expect any help from the government. It's funny that sometimes when you need the most help, the government won't be the one helping you because you're making some money enough to support your loved ones through a hardship. And it's not always the case. Having my mom at home will cost us anywhere from $35,000 to $40,000 a year. So imagine how much money you need to make above that to break even, with all your expenses and everything. So we had to work really hard, because if you need to provide for your loved ones, you need to make at least 3 times. It's hard, it takes time, it takes money, it takes dedication. And when she does regular movements, she shakes a lot. So even eating, it's a challenge, because when you don't have your motion skills, because your brain is still functioning very well, you need help for almost everything. My mom was like my daughter. She is still like my daughter. She's my baby. In 2009-10, when she was going through very, very hard therapy, and she had to learn everything from scratch. Eating, dressing. She couldn't take a bath, we had to bathe her. So imagine being 24 and this happened to your mom or your dad. Caring for a baby is a little easier because they're small and you can provide for them. Someday they will walk and be a little independent. When your parent won't stand up from the wheelchair, it's just so hard to see, because you know that that's not going to change anytime soon. And it's not easy, and nobody talks about this because it's hard. It's everyday work. Getting her in and out of the chair, finding places that are wheelchair accessible. So all these things we have to think about before we go anywhere. So we're very mindful of all the difficulties that are ahead. So transporting my mom is just like an everyday activity. Putting her in the car, put the chair in and out of the trunk, get her on the chair again to make sure she's okay. She doesn't fall. She's at a very high fall risk. It is a journey. It keeps me strong. Keeps me strong physically, and keeps me strong in my mind. I remember taking her to some of my job sites when I was able to, drive her around while I was working, and she'll come with me everywhere. She was my assistant in my car, and we will all go to places, and I will take her everywhere. Like, there was no place I wouldn't take her. I'll go out with my friends, she will come with me. I'll go to Christmas party, she will come with me. If I was in a work event, I will bring her with me if I was able to. So it was just me always with my mom in the wheelchair everywhere we went. And it's not easy, but it just makes you stronger. It's a journey, and we've been able to do it since day one. Our commitment for her, it's so big that she moves our lives left and right, good and bad. She's not an easy person to care for. She's actually very tough, very hard. She's an alpha woman. And imagine trying to care for somebody who's very dominant. She will fire our caregivers. She will do whatever she wanted. She wanted to eat more food. She wanted to drink more water. She wanted to just do everything her way. And it's not an easy task, and anybody who's a caregiver out there, you will understand the commitment. We will go to concerts. We will go to events, street fairs. Anywhere I could bring her, she will come. I didn't want her to get bored at home. We have traveled the world with her. We went to even Alaska. We brought her on a cruise, and even though the cruise was wheelchair accessible, most of the activities weren't. So one of us had to take turns. So my sister will go and do the tours, and then I'll stay home. I'll stay in the boat with my mom. And then the next day, I will take the day. My sister will stay with my mom, and then I'll go and do the tours and the hiking in Alaska, plane riding. But she will come with us everywhere. We were able and blessed to bring her everywhere we could. So anywhere we are able to, she's coming with us. She came with us to Mexico. We went back and forth to Peru many times for events, weddings, and we were able to provide for her in a way that was so magical, because if you saw the amount of money we had, it wasn't enough. All my 20s, I was committed to my mother, and my sister was too. We didn't travel much at all. We were working and stuck in the hamster wheel that you keep running and running and running, and you never get anywhere. And we worked hard. I had 2-3 jobs, and I couldn't make ends meet. All my 20s, I was working hard, and now that I hit my 30s, I just want to work smart. If you're like us and have an immigrant mentality, that if you're here, it's for a reason, you know. If you stay in your country, you cannot go forward too fast, as fast as you can go here. We believe that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and this tunnel is about to show us the light. You just have to keep pushing forward. I feel we had to wake up every morning and motivate ourselves to get up and go work and make sure we can bring money back home so we can care for her. We can bring money home so we can travel with her. Sometimes have enough money to pay our caregiver so we can travel alone with my sister. And it's still a sacrifice. It's not easy. I wish I had somebody's life that was like, oh, I want to just get up and go somewhere. I didn't live that life before. I never had that life. If you're that kind of person that can just get up one day and do whatever you want, go anywhere you want, move anywhere you want, I admire you. You are the most lucky person in the world. We just wonder, why us? Why my mom? We didn't understand, and one day it hit, and we're like, well, everything that's happening to us is not happening just by accident. It's happening for our growth, and we're taking this learning and taking it to the next level. We are running with it. All we need is health, and the rest, we are already blessed with everything else. We have everything we need. We have our 2 arms, 2 legs. We have a body that functions magically. So we have it all already. And the universe is showing me the way. We see the light, we see the why. everything happens for a reason, and for us, my mom has been able to propel us and push us forward in a way, because if you don't have a why, it's just so hard to know where you're going. And for me, all my 20s were hard. It was darkness. I didn't understand why everything was happening to me, to us, to my family. And sometimes when you don't know why things are happening for you, to you, it's because that's where the message is. It's an inspiration. Having my mother endure so much and yet being so hopeful. This video is for her, and I want to make sure she knows she will be okay, because short-term sacrifices will add up to the long-term goal. She raised me the way I am, to just be as driven as I am and as stubborn sometimes as I am, that I won't take no as an answer, or I will consistently work towards what I want. And thank God she was my mother. And there's no why me. There's no why me. It's more like I'm thankful for what happened, because I learned so fast. I feel like I am a fan of failing fast and learning fast. So this was an opportunity for that. Yeah, she's been like in every single part of my life, so it's very hard to have her in this nursing home without being able to provide for her the way I want to provide. But there's a short-term sacrifice we're doing right now for 1 year. I just talked to her. I called her Carmen. I was like, Carmen, if you give me 1 year, I will change our lives. I will make sure every single minute is worth it. If I'm not with you every day, it's not because I don't want to. It's because we must keep moving forward. And that's my promise to her. She's there right now with a purpose. She knows that she's only temporary, and it breaks my heart. And this is not a story to feel bad about, and it's my story, but I wanted to share a little bit of the inside of my life and why I'm so motivated to just keep growing. There's no failing. There's always a motivation for me to keep going. My why is my mother. I will provide for her until the end of her days. And she's my motivation, she's my core, she's my why, and this is why I work so hard. That's why I'm so passionate about what I do. It only goes up from here. Thanks to my learnings in my 20s, because it wasn't easy. But definitely I will do it again.